With Sydney, Australia entering into the Upland Metaverse, let's take a look at some of these neighborhoods, how many properties were minted, and what's still available to mint.
I'm YK2012, founder of the Upland Guide. I'm here to unlock the secrets of the Upland Metaverse. On this channel, you can find everything you need to build your Upland empire. Expert tutorials, winning strategies, pro tips and tricks, and a lot more. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay ahead of the game. Remember, knowledge is power, and in the Upland Metaverse, that knowledge is truly your most valuable asset.
Before I dive into the numbers, let's understand what we see here on these graphs. Firstly, here we can see the different neighborhood values based on the neighborhoods within Sydney. Each of the color-coded ones are the different neighborhood collections. So here we can see, for example, in the Paddington neighborhood, each up squared is going to cost 2,598 UPX in order to mint. Here we have a pie chart that details the number of properties that are owned versus unminted, for sale, or locked. So here we can see that out of all of the properties in Sydney, approximately 75% of them are owned and not for sale. All of this data was taken from upxland.me and compiled on May 24th. Below the pie chart, we can see here a graph that shows the number of properties on the x-axis versus the neighborhood value on the y-axis. So here we can see this Redfern neighborhood, which is one of the more cheaper neighborhoods within the city, 2,000 total properties. This limited collection was relatively affordable when you look at the price per up squared. Over here, you can see a bar graph that is broken down into 4 different areas. On the top, you can see broken down by neighborhood how many of the properties are owned, for sale, unminted, or locked. It's divided to fully minted neighborhoods on the left and neighborhoods with properties available to mint on the right. On the bottom, you can see the percentage of that neighborhood which is held and not for sale by its owners. This graph is completely interactive, and you can take a look at this in the link in the upper right-hand corner and in the description below. Now let's take a look at some of the interesting things that I found in this graph. First, we have the neighborhood of Barangaroo. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but please forgive me. This is an ultra-rare neighborhood and by far the most expensive neighborhood in the city. We can see here that it only has a total of 41 properties, and we've got about half of them which are listed for sale. To complete the collection, you only need 2 properties, and you get a 2.71 multiplier, as well as a nice one-time reward. Next, let's take a look at the neighborhood of Woolloomooloo. Here you can see that at 91%, this neighborhood has the highest hold rate within the city. We can see over here that it's kind of in the middle of the pack when it comes to the neighborhood value, and that's the same for the number of properties in that neighborhood. If we look at Dawes Point here, this is a rare neighborhood, and we can see that there's only 96 properties here. It also looks like there's relatively quite a lot of people looking to capitalize on the fact that they minted a rare collection property and trying to sell it. That's probably why there's only 61% of these properties that are being held. We've also got the neighborhood here of Paddington, where there are quite a lot of properties still available to mint. And you can see here that it has the second most properties within the city, only behind Surrey Hills. Surrey Hills is right next to it here. You can see here in terms of its neighborhood value, it's relatively average, but the number of properties still available to mint is only 79 compared to this over 1,500 properties within Paddington. That's almost half the neighborhood. I think Paddington is going to remain unminted for quite some time. There are still a number of collections that have yet to be revealed, and it's quite possible that these might be some of them. If you want to see more of these types of videos from me, analyzing a lot of the data behind some of these properties and other things in Upland, leave me a comment below. What else did you find interesting about this graph?